and it's time to break free. Eyes wide open, gotta see what I see. Standing on the front lines, fighting for the truth. Lift the veil of lies, it's time to be the proof. Take a stand, don't you back down. Raise your voice, let's shake the town. We're the voices that won't be ignored. Breaking chains, yeah, we're ready for war. With the power of the people, we'll make them see a world of justice, united and free. United and free. United and free. Marching with a purpose, we're taking it higher. Fighting through the struggle, igniting the fire. No more silence, we'll make the noise loud. Together in this battle, standing strong and proud. Injustice fades when courage aligns. Rise up together, break the confines. We're the voices that won't be ignored. Breaking chains, yeah, we're ready for war. With the power of the people, we'll make them see a world of justice, united and free. United and free. United and free. So rise up now, it's our time to shine. Together we'll write a new paradigm. You paradigm, you paradigm. Whoa, whoa. We're the voices that won't be ignored. Breaking chains, yeah, we're ready for war. With the power of the people, we'll make them see a world of justice, united and free. United and free. Rise up now, it's our time to shine. United and free. We'll write a new paradigm. United and free. United and free. United and free.
Yes, sir.
Sir, do you also understand that pursuant to Florida Statute 775.082, that because you are receiving a prison sentence, if you were to a qualifying offense in the state of Florida as listed under 775.082, within 3 years of your release from Florida State Prison, that you could be classified as a prison releasee reoffender?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you being forced, threatened, coerced, intimidated, or made to enter into this agreement against your own free will?
No, sir.
You understand that you have the right, I assume you do, you already exercised these rights. You have the right to a jury trial with legal representation. You have the right to present defenses. You have the right to testify. But you are giving up those rights by entering this no contest plea to count one of the amended information.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Tucker, do you agree that the state could present evidence that if that evidence were to be believed, would establish a factual basis to count one of the amended information?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Tucker, I find that you are alert and intelligent, freely and voluntarily waived your rights. A factual basis exists and the court will accept your plea. Does the state wish to make any statement at this time?
No, sir.
Mr. Tucker, do you wish to say anything?
No, sir.
All right. Sir, I'm going to go ahead and sentence you now in case number 2017 CF 841CK. Oh, yeah. You have a score sheet? Is this up here?
Please to the courtroom.
Mr. Tucker, your score sheet shows 93.5 points. So, first, do you agree?
Yes, sir.
This means that this is a downward departure.
Yes, sir.
This is a downward departure based on a legit, uncoerced plea. And we use these notes on the score sheet. All right, Mr. Tucker, you get the benefit of your bargain. Go ahead and sentence you in case number 2017 CFP or 1CK. State what was your announcement related to all counts in the amended information and to the singular count of the indictment?
We're gonna mobilize all the other counts in the information and request, on the indictment, I think I had to request, dismissal or eviction or something along those.
It's one of those two words, and I will grant your request. Mr. Tucker, to the singular remaining count, which is robbery with a deadly weapon while masked in violation of Florida Statute 812.13, you're hereby adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 910 days in Florida State Prison with credit for 910 days. There's $865 of court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $40 cost of investigation to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. There's a $50 public defender application fee. There's $8,533 of prisoner transportation costs. All of those monetary amounts will be reduced to civil judgment means. Sir, you have 30 days to appeal. If you cannot appeal, 30 days, you have right. So if you cannot afford an attorney to do it, you won't want to deal.
And then one final thing, the defendant had asked us about returning his property. There's no objection to that property being released this time.
So let's let the court minutes reflect that there's a stipulated motion for return to the property of the defendant. The case is now closed. I mean, pending 30 days for appeal. So I'm gonna grant that request. Just let the court minutes reflect that. So sometimes if you go to property, they either want a court order or court minutes that reflect that property can be returned. Again, the state stipulated the case is closed. Mr. Tucker's property can and shall be returned to them. Mr. Tucker, I'm going to sign this right now, and perhaps we can give it to the transportation deputy. I mean, or you want to
No, I have to upload it in.
so it'll be uploaded momentarily. All right, of course, there's that here.
Thank you.
Right, so we're fine, justice.
Wait, mine is here.
Yes. Now.
How you doing, Glenn?
So it's over.
Huh?
It's over.
Yep, it's over. As far as I know.
How you feel?
Pretty good.
We have fingerprints.
I'm gonna get back. Call me later. Call me later.
Well, yeah, I can't call you later, but yeah.
You're getting out today.
Well, no, not today. I won't be getting out today because they have to wait for a number from Tallahassee. As soon as they get that, then I'll be released.
Okay. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm a little late. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mr.
oh,
Tucker.
this way. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
You probably have to,
Do you want your copy of the documents?
Yeah.
And when I get that from, copy of the. Thank you.
use restroom, I think, breathing.
Oh, yes.
All right, so
Call me.
yeah, they will. The jail, they used to, you check in them, they changed. You take the release papers, they'll give you a bus transport, all the way to like Florida City, on the bus, you know, pay. You can check that out, if that's still going in, yes?
What's that?
On the bus transport, is it still, they just take the discharge papers and everything transport?
As far as I know, yes.
And there's literally a bus stop right outside, you walk, the sheriff's office right there.
I don't know where to. Ain't been that long. Thank you. And I'll talk to David later. I'll hit him up on the tablet. You know what's going on.
You ready, Judge?
Thank you. All right, Mr. Tucker, your fingerprints are signed. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Can you go out that way, please? You can restroom, make sure they got your paperwork here. There's Lucy down in the ward. You want to take it?
Talk to you later. Glenn.
Over.
Yep, it's over.
I'll follow you.
Thank you.
7 years,
Thank you
it's
all.
over.
Thank you all.
All right, everybody. So there you saw it. I wanted to replay that. I edited it up. I know the audio sounds like it's in the middle of a, I don't know. I was enhancing it so we could hear it. I'm going to potentially do another, re-edit it and just make the audio regular, but it's very difficult to hear everything that was said in the courtroom. So, distortion where you can hear what's said or you want the full flavor. Y'all let me know in the comments if you want to see that. Yes, Sarah, it is a fantastic day. So, I wanted to go over and update you guys on what's going on, and I'm also going to play for you. I had a 3-hour conversation with Ty today. Now, I'm not putting the entire conversation up because some of it, there's just some highlights I want to play of the conversation. It's not all meant for public disclosure because it was a long, winding conversation. Some of it was recorded, some of it was not. But I recorded the parts that I thought were relevant, that everybody would want to know, an update on what his future holds, what he's doing, what's going on, and all of that stuff. Now, Ty has promised that we will put together, when he gets himself grounded, as you're going to learn, he did, in fact, get out. He is in Key West still. He's down in Key West. He's at a hotel, courtesy of Lauren. She assisted him with that, so hats off to her. She's still helping him to this day. They might not be legally together anymore, but she still got his back. So she's helping him out with that. And he's down there safe. And he's having to wait, as you're going to learn, he has to wait until Monday to get his computer and phone. So right now he's got no cell phone, no computer. The only thing he has is the hotel phone, which is what he called me from. So I was honored to be able to take that phone call from him. He called me. We talked for like 3 hours and had a good conversation. Like I said, we got into lots of stuff. I'll share some of it because we got into, talking about good topics, but there's also things that were saved for when, as he's promised, and I've promised for a long time, that we're going to get him up here and we're going to talk, and we're going to have a good, fruitful conversation about his case and ask all the questions publicly. You guys have wanted to. You guys will get to ask questions. But one thing remains clear right now with this plea, and I'll explain a little background, and then I'll let Ty kind of give you. He does some explaining too in the parts of the conversation I'm going to share about the plea deal. But first off, he did take a plea deal. Second of all, he did not admit to anything in this plea deal. This plea deal began in the dark of the night. They came in. It was a massive negotiation. You're going to hear Ty talk about some of that. In that negotiation, the prosecutors acknowledged his innocence, okay? And you're going to hear Ty talk about that. They acknowledged his innocence. They acknowledged that Dennis Ward, the prosecutor in Key West, the head prosecutor, who's a politician, not an attorney. He is an attorney, but he doesn't really try cases. He's more of a politician. He doesn't like Ty Tucker, and they acknowledge that, listen, he's never going to let up. His goal is to put you, he said, he's either going to try to put you in prison for the rest of your life. He's going to try to hold you down in Florida in jail. He's never going to let you have bond, and you're going to be fighting for months and months on end before you beat this. And they explained to him that said, listen, we understand what you want to do. You want to go forward with your civil case. You want to go forward fighting. You want to go forward fighting this case. Shaquille Oatmeal, yes, it did end in a mistrial, but it didn't end there. Okay. The case continued on. They have a right to retry him. They made the decision to retry him. Judge Jones bowed out because there was a complaint filed by Ty in regards to his conduct in that case. He did it in the middle of the case. And unlike that idiot judge that said, oh, you have to file it in writing. Ty knew he had to file it in writing because he filed it in writing. He filed it in writing the next day after he told the court verbally what he planned to do. However, the case didn't end and they didn't stop the case. They proceeded forward. But after the case concluded, the head judge, we believe, had a conversation with Judge Jones and said, we think it's probably best you exit this situation because of your conduct in the case, and it might just be better for your career. So he's out. Now that complaint is making its way through. Ty did mention that today, that is making its way through. Judge Jones will be brought to justice for his actions and behaviors in the case. That's coming. It's not there yet, but it's coming. That day is going to be coming just like the day is coming for all of these people down in Key West, where they are going to meet Ty Tucker one day in a courtroom. It won't be in a criminal courtroom. It'll be in a civil courtroom where he is going to get to put these people on the stand. He's going to get to question them. Hopefully, that's what he's talking about. But you're going to hear him talk about that. He's got some big names involved. He's got some people involved that he hopes to get involved, and he needs your all's help. He needs help getting his case. This now comes the real work where we have to get this case out, word out. You have to share. Yes, there's a lot of people that don't even know this stuff is going on. There's a lot of things that in the dark of the night they did, including revoking his bond for an alleged missed urinalysis that he actually did not miss. He went twice. There was a problem at the center 2 days in a row, and the judge didn't do any looking, didn't call him down for a hearing like he was supposed to. He just revoked his bond and then locked him up and made a new bond of $3.1 million for the missed urinalysis. He went from a $65,000 bond to $3.1 million, and he was unable to be free again. Once they got him down there, they kept cameras out of the courtroom. They denied him any supplies. For 3 months, he was denied even a writing utensil. Once he was able to finally, after numerous times, he was told by the judge, you have to put your motions in writing, and he tried to explain to the judge, but I don't have anything to write with. Finally, he was provided with, the little mini pencils for mini golf. They gave him those. He began writing motions out on paper with that mini golf pencil. And he then began filing motions. He was able to finally file motions for indigency. Unfortunately, his wife and him went through a divorce while he was in there. That divorce went through, so he was able to successfully file indigency paperwork. And eventually, he was able to get the case, the trial continued, because they had set it for a trial date in September, where they literally, for all practical purposes, had tied his hands around his back, tied his feet together, and were attempting to take him to trial completely unprepared. He was able to do the Houdini magic trick of filing a motion and getting, even though the motion arrived, date continued to not arrive. He had to send it 3 separate times through the mailing system that they use for prisoners. It finally arrived in the 3rd DCA, and even the judge had attempted to try to get out of being served the motion. He attempted to continue to cancel court dates, but eventually the judge got served, and the judge continued that trial. And it was because of that continuance, and because of the fact that he was also going to be filing a change of venue to try to kick Dennis Ward out and kick these other 2 attorneys out, that they came to him and said, Ty, let's end this thing. We know you want to fight us civilly. You can still do that if you file no contest. So it was once it set in, which I had tried to explain this to him months ago. Once it set in that no contest meant he could still fight, he could still make money off of this case, he could still he could still maintain his innocence. He began negotiating what that plea would look like. And for him, he said the most important part is that when he signs this plea deal and he pleads no contest, that he never has to admit anything, which you're not going to have to under a no contest plea. But most importantly, no additional sentence or punishment will be levied. No more jail time, no probation, nothing, which is very unheard of, because most of the time there's a supervision component. Most of the time, not most of the time, every time they do a plea like this, especially with something as serious as this, they agreed to it all. Dennis Ward agreed to it all. He said the only thing he wanted was he wanted to have an adjudicated guilty. He wanted to have him adjudicated guilty in court, even if he wasn't admitting it. So that's where they were able to work this out. Now, this all took place in order for Mansfield and Alvarez to try to put this together. They actually went in the middle of the night and pulled him out and begged him to agree to this, to try to do this, because they said they did not want to have to lock up an innocent man. They knew, but they said Dennis Ward was stuck, and they just wanted this to end. And they said they sold him on this. They even complimented his in courtroom stuff. And they said, listen, let's end this. So under that auspice of all of that backdrop, Ty agreed finally to do this. And it's going to allow him fully to defend himself. And of course, it also is going to raise the massive question to everyone. And it's already, listen, you're going to hear Ty talk about it. There was a guy who represented Mike Tyson, Donald Trump. This attorney is already looking into Ty's case civilly. And he looked at it and he said, this is the most impressive plea agreement I've ever seen. He said, you are a legal genius for what you've done here. He said, the fact that the serious nature of this case, and you got 910 days, they waived over $1 million worth of court costs because of his trials. They left him with $10,000 civil judgment. And basically he walked out free. I mean, there was nothing else. There's no additional jail time, nothing. He said, this is unheard of. This is, remember, the serious nature of this crime. What they did this on is what the state of Florida stands on right now. Remember, last Friday, we watched it together. A man stabbed 3 people, including his girlfriend. His girlfriend forever damaged. The one fella, his hand forever damaged, right? Nobody lost their life. Nobody lost their life. That young man filed for a downward departure. He asked for mitigation. And not only was he not granted mitigation, this happened in Florida, but he was given life, no parole. Fast forward 4 days later, a man goes to court, enters a no contest plea for the following crime: stabbing 3 people, essentially, in a crime that resulted in the stabbing of 3 people, the death of one, the neck being sliced of another who suffered injuries. Another man got his hand injured, a good Samaritan known as Todd O'Quinn, who tried to jump in and intervene. And that man gets 910 days time served, no probation, no supervised release, no community supervision, no terms other than he comes in and does an uncoerced plea, walks out of court, all court costs waived, and he gets the transport costs, which he owes another state. Florida, and this is what you also have to understand, they paid those. The reason why he has the transport costs is because they paid that to another agency, which Florida is now reducing to a lien, so it wasn't waivable. But as was explained to him by Alvarez, you will never have to pay that because it's civil. Unless you hit the lottery, then they might come try to collect it from you. But other than that, this is the best plea deal any defendant has ever said, has ever got for themselves. And he did it without an attorney. Like I said, this attorney who represented, like I said, Mike Tyson, Donald Trump, he's been involved in lots of high profile cases. Ty talked to him and he said, this is the most impressive deal. Same thing that I was saying yesterday. And I hadn't even talked to Ty yet or knew what this attorney's opinion was. I can tell you right now, it's unprecedented. And just like I told him earlier today, look, this is something that will make people stop and listen. Those in the know, those who understand the magnitude of this is what's going to make attorneys say, wait a minute, what? They did what in this case? They did what in a case that involved what? That involved that type of carnage? What? Amazing. So those of you who think that this is in any way an implication of his guilt, you could not be further from the truth. You could not be more wrong. This is the loudest proclamation of Ty Tucker's innocence that could be said, period. It's almost stronger than a not guilty verdict by a jury, because only the jury is just saying, hey, state didn't have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? There is no other explanation than the fact that these 2 prosecutors and Dennis Ward in the back of his head and Monroe County Sheriff's Office and the State Attorney General's Office all knew Ty Tucker was innocent. Otherwise, they would have never agreed to a plea bargain like this that has nothing in it that he had to do. He did not have to testify. He did not have to give them any information. He did not have to do anything but show up in court and agree to plead no contest to a robbery charge without having to admit his guilt. Again, it is unprecedented. I've never heard of a plea deal ever being done like this, ever being done under these circumstances. This is the sweetest deal you could possibly get. It's unbelievable. Now, he does have to walk around with a felony. That is a downside to this. But besides walking around with a felony, which, again, it just is what it is, he'll be able to hopefully explain this to people, and hopefully he won't be needing to get a profession that requires him to be not a felon. But other than that, which is a pretty devastating thing, other than that, he walked away for this scot-free. And this is, well, actually, Sarah, it's not an Alford plea. I was stating that in confusion. The Alford plea actually is where you would plead guilty with a statement of innocence, right? So it's what the Alford plea does is normally, if you plead guilty, you are required to give an allocution. You are required to give you are required to give a statement. It got confused in my head when I was talking yesterday. But the Alford plea basically is a end around to that part. And in South Carolina versus Alford, which is the case that this came out of, they basically said that it's allowed that if a prosecutor acknowledges it and a defendant agrees, that a defendant can come in and say, listen, this is in my best interest. I agree they have strong evidence. I'm maintaining my innocence, but I'm agreeing to enter a guilty plea. And in that case, it was to avoid a death penalty case, and he was getting life in prison instead, and he was saying it was in his best interest. So well, unfortunately, as you guys are going to understand under your scars, I'm getting ready to play the tape. He does not have the ability to chat. He does not have the ability to come on because right now his property is still in custody of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office because the evidence department was out due to the holiday. So he is currently down in Key West. He never left Key West. I'd gotten reports he was going to have to be transferred. They did not do that. They sent his DOC number down. They allowed him to be released on the island of Key West. And you're going to hear Ty's already walked out. He's already walked out. So, in fact, let's go ahead and play it. I talked to Ty earlier today. He was at a hotel down in Key West, and he called from that hotel. And so let's play the tape, and then we'll talk some more.
Any attorney's office for disqualified, whatever, right?
Right.
Anyway, point being is, so man, we were going back and forth with different threats, this, that, and the other, right? And it's a whole stalemate situation, whatever. Bottom line is this, though, is okay, by taking that no contest, right? No contest, man, freaking while it's adjudicated as guilty in criminal court, it is not admissible in civil court.
Correct. Yep.
So, man, I can still sue.
Yep.
Right? So I'm like, okay, why am I giving them all these advantages, like putting me in jail and holding the PBL over my head and all this other shit, when I can just take it to civil court and, win there? But you didn't catch, I don't think you caught this part, but, they waived about $2 million worth of prosecution fees. I got $10,000 worth of fees, right? But think of how much it costs.
Oh, yeah.
Because, when I started looking at the no contest, looking closer at that and looking at the civil implications, right? And okay, because no contest is not an admission of guilt.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
It's not treated that way.
That's right.
Yes, I take the punishment as if I was guilty. That's where that whole adjudication guilty comes in.
Yep.
Right? Because you're going to take the punishment. But you're never found guilty and you're never admitting the guilt, which is why in civil court it's not even admissible. You know what I'm saying? So my conviction is not even admissible in civil court. I'm already talking to lawyers too, and here's the thing: is this way it's almost better for me.
We can't.
No, they actually admitted they knew there was no way they could beat me. Right? They knew that.
Well, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought. You want to? I got a tidbit for you that you didn't know that I couldn't tell you before. Right. Okay. While I was in, man. Okay, I came across a book that happened to be brought in by John Johnson.
Okay.
I bought it for 16 suits. Guess what the name of the book is?
What is it?
Dark Psychology and Manipulation.
Oh, wow.
11 books in one. And I was going to have him read the back cover for the jury, right?
Uh-huh.
Does the idea of mind control fascinate you? Are you interested in understanding the human mind? Do you want to learn how to influence others and bend them to your will? Civil, right?
Right.
They don't have JoJo for civil.
No.
See what I'm saying? They can't bring him as a witness because I doubt he'll agree to come.
I'm saying when he picked up on it.
I'll tell you what, this is the part I'll give them. And this is the part I even knew and I conceded to them. I was like, it's not them, it's Dennis Ward. Dennis Ward was not gonna drop this case.
Right.
You guys deal with the facts and you have dug into my case, man, probably more than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Besides me and Lauren. That's the thing is people have torn this thing apart.
Yep.
And I've never tried to hide anything from anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look, the information's there.
Yep.
You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? You think I'm guilty? Go find it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, you're not going to. And there's a good reason why.
Yep. Through and exhaustively reviewed the case. Now, like I said, I'm 100%. I could say you're 100% innocent, and that's why when people come in and I'm like,
Alvarez actually said that too. He actually admitted that during our negotiations.
did he?
He was,
Well,
you know, he's like, "You're a hell of a commanding presence, man. When we were in court, I got to give you that."
yep.
He's like, "I hated it when you would pick up the microphone and walk around like a game show host."
Yeah. Oh,
He's like, "We can't do that." He's like, "Bones is coming up, man. His getting thrown off the bench is coming up soon."
is it really?
I have
Okay.
paperwork. Yeah, man, filed my JQC complaint a while ago.
Oh, nice.
And man, so they've been reviewing the tapes from trial, man. I mean, straight up. I mean, he showed bias, man, and that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that stuff when I call him, man, talking about, man, I call him out on the lie they told at the end.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, is man, and this is where they're going to be upset because, man, I haven't forgotten about that.
Oh, hell no.
And
You
yes, I
shouldn't.
am still going after your license
Yep.
because you shouldn't have done that shit.
No,
I don't.
years ago.
All the evidence says John Travis Johnson is
Absolutely
the other
it
guy.
does. Absolutely it does.
You know?
From day one. From day
Can you
one.
imagine how much you would have choked when I brought that book up in there, though, with his
Uh,
name, his inmate number
yep.
on it?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
book on how to lie.
Yep. Exactly.
What? He totally goes over. He doesn't, man, admit to ever being at CBS. The crime goes down 15 minutes after those two squad cars that we also have pictures of in CBS leave. What you're thinking is this.
Mhm.
First off, I don't think that Ward knows I can turn around and still sue him.
Okay.
I think, man, Alvarez and Mansfield, even though they know I plan on suing, I think they're going to think that I'm so happy I'm free and that no lawyer will take it and blah, 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 that, man, fucking, that it's not going to matter.
Gotcha.
You know? But the thing is, and that they're going to, and more importantly, that those two will get out of this. Because we've talked about that, too, because, okay, my thought was they were going to let me have that change of venue, right?
Right.
Alvarez and Mansfield wanted me to get that change of venue. Because if I got the change of venue, they would have been off the hook. You see what I'm saying?
And then they would have had another prosecuting attorney's office come in, review the case, possibly even
Exactly.
resolve
And
it themselves.
go back to man Ward and be like, "Well, we did our best, but man, freaking, he got the change of venue."
Well, then Ward's hands are off the thing
Right.
because he can't have any
Ward
influence.
would have been out, but more importantly, Mansfield and Alvarez,
Are off
they
the
wouldn't
hook.
have had to do any more dirty shit.
Right.
They would have been off the hook. They wouldn't have to go on TV and try this case again. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, man, now get a change of venue, they're off the hook. We did our job. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
No,
Yep.
and actually, that was their plan.
Oh, was it? Did they confirm that for you, or is
Yeah,
that
we talked about it, man. Yes, man. I mean,
that was kind of where they were? That was kind of the way they were going to tank.
Say outright yes, because man,
Now, did they
obviously the
ever
ball-
confirm for you at any point that their plan earlier on had been to try to get out of the case through the 90-day rule? Because I feel like that might have been one of their early plans. Because I remember when you were waving
No, they
that.
didn't, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Well, because
You
they were so shocked when you were doing that, and you were kind of worried about the dismissal, and that was when Morgan was like, because it was like Morgan was slowballing his,
Well, 'cause
thinking.
I knew there was no way that Ward was going to give up on that 90 days.
Well,
And
no,
with the
but
dirty
see,
judge, I knew Morgan was dirty by that point.
well, no, but see,
Right?
well,
He was going to give him a date, man, within that 90 days.
well, what it
He would have
was.
pressed the trial earlier. That's all he would have done.
Well, remember, the 90 days was going to expire in May. The issue would have been is assigning a judge in time to try the case, be prepared, and have John Travis Johnson, which would have allowed the state to maneuver and would have allowed Alvarez and Mansfield to say, Dennis, we can't be prepared. The 90 days is hitting. Let's just let this thing go. The 90-day rule
Maybe.
runs out.
Maybe, but I also know Ward still wouldn't let it go, just like he wouldn't let it go now.
Well, he probably wouldn't have
what I
wanted to let it go, but I'm just wondering if those two guys would have saw that as a maneuverable out.
I would love to ask him. You know what I'm saying? But they're not gonna like me so much, man. Again.
Oh
after,
no,
man,
yeah,
all this-
I don't think they would ever admit that today. But I didn't know if they implied anything in there, like,
But man, I'll tell you all about the negotiations some other time. I don't want to eat up your whole Thursday with negotiations.
For certain. But the
yeah, man, it was definitely interesting, man. There were a lot of threats thrown back and forth, and a lot of different maneuvering, whatever.
well, I'm sure their threats were keep you in jail and we're gonna you're facing life. I mean, technically speaking. So to me,
right. I don't know. And if I did get the change of venue to Miami, who knows? And they made it, and they talked about whatever prosecutor was up there. Do you think they'd want to prosecute and that kind of? They played their whole little game. With
well,
that
of course,
too.
right? Yeah, because they're going to play the game as because to them they're going to play like they have the chips. Which
I told them straight up, I was like this. I was like, look, I don't give a fuck. Here's the point. you know, I'm not going to take anything that, man, where I have to plead guilty to anything,
Right.
and I'm not doing a single day's worth of punishment.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I have, man, done 7 years for something I didn't do.
Well, yeah,
So,
you've
man,
had
if you
7
guys
years
can,
upon
man,
it.
figure it out, man, between that, you know, I don't plead guilty and I don't do a single day's
Yep.
worth of punishment,
Yep.
then we'll talk. And, man, so then, man, they went back and they got the no contest from Ward, and, man, you know, so, man, then we were straight. Oh, and by the way, I also want you to, man, knock off all those prosecution fees, because I saw Blanton's
Uh-huh.
when he did his deal,
Uh-huh.
and his was 150. His was like 150 some odd thousand, and, man, he never even went to trial. Here's another little tidbit for you, man. We might be talking to Jose Baez for the civil suit after I get out of here, because I'm still in Key West, right? I couldn't get out before, man, freaking the holiday. Oh, they fucked me up, man, too. They let me out in the middle of the night.
Well, I was going to say, when did they let you out? Like, what happened with that? Because I know you were.
Well, first off, okay, I wasn't supposed to get out till Monday, right? Because,
Right.
okay, they had to get me a DOC number since I, man, got sentenced to prison time, right?
Right.
They said fastest they've ever seen anybody get a DOC number, man, because I got it within an hour I was out. And I had no ID. You know, I have none of my shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have shoelaces or, man, a belt, none of that. So anyway, so I get out, and I tried to even go to COTS, and COTS wouldn't take me because I didn't have an ID, right?
Gotcha.
So, man, I ended up having to wander around the street all night, man, if I can get an ID in the morning. And luckily, I got there just in time to get an ID. But they were supposed to get me that shit. That was part of the deal. They were supposed to get me my ID and get me my stuff out of evidence so that I could leave, man, state, man, immediately.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, which is important.
And the thing is but no, instead they gave me 2 pieces of paper I could take down to DMV to get my ID, right? And of course it's Thanksgiving.
Right.
Right. So, man, but, man, luckily I got there just in time. But, you know, that's beside the point. And then, man, the property room's not going to be open until Monday, you know?
Gotcha.
So the thing is, man, so I thought they'd have my property for me at the jail, but no, they just told the judge, man, well, we want to give him back all of his property. Case is over. We don't need it as evidence anymore, blah, blah, blah. So that way, at least I'd have my laptop and it's a couple cell phones, whatever, right? So I could at least communicate with people. Because right now I have nothing. You know,
Well, yeah,
I literally, man, have nothing.
So you don't have a cell phone that's turned on or anything, do you?
No, man, I'm calling you from the hotel phone.
That's
right
what
now.
I thought. Okay. So you got to get a cell phone and all
Lauren
that.
and I have been talking. She actually got me a hotel room, man, for the night.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, yeah. And well, we've been talking because, okay, here's the thing, and I talked to her.
Right.
Now, granted, I'm pissed off that she divorced me, man. Don't get me wrong. I am pissed about it. It was a bit much, man.
Yeah.
That was a lot to handle. Anyway,
imagine.
point being, you know, the bottom line is this, man, you know, because I told her, I was like, well, and I told her about being able to sue. I couldn't tell her until now, right?
Right.
And I told her, man, that yes, we can still sue. And that, man, yes, you know, she could do one on her own, but it probably would not be successful.
Right.
And, man, even if she did, she wouldn't get that much money. So I told her, I was like, look, what we need, you know, you can join in on my lawsuit, and, man, it will make the damages go up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, we still have where they tried to deny our marriage. That was a civil rights violation, right? And then, man, we can go ahead and add in our marriage as, man, part of the damages.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, man. So now, man, she's happy because, yes, I'm sticking to my word, and I'm trying to make sure she gets her money back.
What?
I should have been able to take a bus from here to Miami or Fort Lauderdale.
I heard that in that video.
With my release papers, right?
Right.
But the thing is, now that it's days afterwards, I'm not so sure they're going to honor that. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
But we'll see. I don't know, man. One way or another, I'll be up in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, man. You know, by Monday at the latest, I'll be out of here.
And then once you get up there, do you have any, like, what's your plan as far as, are you going back to Oregon or?
While I'm in Fort Lauderdale, I plan on going to these attorneys' offices.
Right, sure.
You know, and I've actually talked to Lauren about that too. She may come down and join me.
Okay.
Because, man, the bottom line is, man, you know, I'm not so sure I want Jerry and Kara handling our civil suit anymore.
Right.
Right. There's some reasons for that, but, man, you know, I haven't made my decision yet, but I want to go speak to some larger firms. I think we'd be better off going with a larger firm with more resources. And look, I want somebody hungry. I want somebody who's going to go in there and get everything they can from these assholes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm be point blank honest, man. I want them to go in. Hell, if I could get Better Call Saul, I would do it in a heartbeat. You know? But the bottom line is, man, no, that's what I'm looking for. And not only that, a bigger firm, they're going to come up with every last thing that, man, we can possibly sue them for. You know what I mean? So that's the idea. So I'll go, and like I said, Jose Baez is on the list. I already talked to Robert Hampman. He just wants to see the paperwork. He wants to see the deal I signed. But
Gotcha.
he's with you. And, impressing a guy who, man's been a lawyer for Trump and Tyson and all this shit, and he, man, sitting there talking about what a genius I was doing this. Yeah, it made me feel pretty good.
Hell yeah.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it was. Ty was a genius move because, like I said, when you go to these attorneys and they're looking at
Like
this.
I know a lot of people were going to see this as a failure, right? And
It's not, though.
They weren't going to see the strategy behind this,
Oh.
And I was like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yes, my ego wanted to go back to trial and kick their ass,
Correct.
right? But man, that's all it would have been. It would have been my ego, and I would have been doing it with every disadvantage.
Correct.
What Judge Morgan said.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, well, if they took this to trial
Yep.
and presented their evidence based on it, if the jury believed that evidence, then they could possibly
Okay.
find you guilty.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Which,
Because that's all a no contest is. It happens, sure, but man, so what? Santa Claus could possibly happen too.
that's exactly right.
That's
Yes.
the other thing.
There it is.
I mean, because
Yep.
he didn't even hem or haw or hesitate. I saw 910 days. When I saw a maximum of 30 years,
Yep.
I'm like sitting there. I'm like, man, he's got to say something about that. Any attorney's office for disqualified, whatever, right?
Right.
Anyway, point being is, so man, we were going back and forth with, man, different threats, this, that, and the other, right? And man, it's a whole stalemate situation, whatever. Bottom line is this, though, is okay, by taking that no contest, right? No contest, man, freaking while it's adjudicated as guilty in criminal court, it is not admissible in civil court.
Correct. Yep.
So, man, I can still sue,
Yep.
right? So I'm like, okay, why am I giving them all these advantages, like putting me in jail and holding the PBL over my head and all this other shit,
Mhm.
when I can just take it to civil court and, man, win there? That you didn't catch, I don't think you caught this part,
Mhm.
but man, they waived about a couple $1 million worth of prosecution fees. I got $10,000 worth of fees, right? But think
Right.
of how much it costs.
Oh, yeah.
Because, man, when I started looking at the no.
All right, so guys, sorry, it started replaying there. I had it on a loop. I didn't realize that. I thought I was hearing familiar stuff. So there you have it. Again, unfortunately, the entire conversation was not caught on tape. There was we got disconnected. He had to call me back. Anyways, it just didn't. The second half didn't. But the parts I wanted to play, the information I wanted to put out there for you guys, which was the what went into the plea negotiations, where he's at, what his plans are. You heard what his plans are. You heard where he's at. He's safe. Christine, as you may not have been in here earlier, but as I was explaining, and Ty explained as well, the evidence locker or the evidence room is not open until Monday due to the holiday. So he was awarded his computer and his phones back, but unfortunately, he can't get access to those until Monday when they're going to be given back to him. So he's got to wait until then. He'll get that hopefully Monday. Now I don't know if this is the computer from 7 years ago, because I thought I heard that all the stuff, his actual computer he was using in their other trial and all his phones, that they were at Oregon Airport and that they stayed with TSA. So I don't know what he's getting back, because if it's an old computer, hell, it might not even work. Who knows? But that's the plan. He's not certain if he's going to stay in Key West until Monday. He may, maybe he'll let those items go. I don't know. I did put in his ear. I let him know. I said, look, whenever you get back on your feet and you've got access to a computer and everything, or if you just want to call in, we can have a conversation. Everybody wants to talk to you. I let him know that there is interest in doing some fundraisers for him. He said he's going to get all that set up. He doesn't want anybody doing anything until he can get things set up so that it's easy, quick, and seamless. But right now he's just kicking back. And when we left, when we ended the conversation, like I said, it was a 3-hour conversation. We got into a lot of things. We got into his theory on the case, exactly what he thinks happened, and exactly why he thinks it happened. We talked a lot, and I can assure you, based on the conversation, he answered every question effortlessly. I know the case file inside and out, and he absolutely, everything he said was consistent with the evidence. Everything he said has been consistent with everything he's ever told me about this case. But we were able to really finally get into some things and talk about some things as the conversation traveled. Now, Amber M, we're not that part we didn't get into. I tried to ask him a couple times, but the answer basically back was he's just not certain at this point. I think right now what he wants to do is kind of get an idea of trying to get a civil attorney. He's not sure he wants the two original attorneys, Jerry and Kara. They were the original attorneys who represented him originally, and then they were also going to handle the civil case. I cut that out. I didn't want to put that out there, but he's expressed some thoughts on that. But he basically told me that he's not certain about them. He wants to shop around. He just wants to make sure he's got the right team in place. They're currently involved. So a lot of work's been done that this can move forward and he can begin the process of trying to hold these people accountable. He does, Amber M, he does want out of Florida. Right now it's logistical because he's really trying to figure out, he's got to get Florida attorneys. So what he's planning to do is, most importantly, he wants to get out of Key West. So he is, Ty needs to call his friends here at home in Oregon ASAP. Well, if I talk to Ty, I will let him know. Nicole Lee, if you're one of his friends in Oregon, I'll let him know you said that. So that he can get back in touch with you. I don't know what numbers he has. I don't know if he had, because again, I think that I don't know what phones he's looking to get. I just know that right now, as you heard, he literally was released. I know he had my number because he's been calling and he was given that by someone else, but by a third party, but he's really struggled. I'm one of the few people he has the numbers. He's got Lauren's number. He's got my number. He might have others. I don't know, but he has no access to electronics. So I want you to think about that. He's got no money. I told him there's some people interested in helping right now, but he said, nothing right now. He's figuring it out. So, he's working his way through this. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, he told some things that, again, when he gets on here live, if he wants to get into all this stuff, I'll give him the option to talk about it publicly. But there were some things about Travis Johnson that you will knock your socks off that I did not include, that are just too big for right now without me saying, you know what, I want to make sure he wants all that out, because it's unbelievable what he's gotten away with. But the important thing to know is he's safe right now. He's at a hotel. Well, that's what I'm saying, Jamie. I don't know. That's what I was trying to get out of him. And he was saying, then he said his wallet and everything was left over in Oregon. So I don't know if they took that laptop. They may have. If it's the laptop he was bringing with him originally, then it'll be the laptop he was using to defend his case all the way up until May. So he should be good to go. If it's the laptop that he had, the famous one that he was plugging in at McDonald's 7 years ago, or Burger King or whatever, that he had in his backpack that he had at Cots with him the night he got arrested, and then the cell phones from that time, well, good luck with that. I mean, I don't know that any of that will work. But we'll see. It's been sitting in an evidence locker for 7 years. Probably won't even work or do anything, but it's what he's going to have. So right now it's just a matter of him getting reconnected with the world. I mean, he's been out. He's only been incarcerated for, he's only been, incarcerated, what? I guess we're going from May to 6 months, but Christine, I think I have it in my email. Don't put it in the chat. Don't put it in the chat. I have it in the email. I will certainly forward it to him when he's in a position to, collect numbers and do things with it. Certainly. And Nicole Lee, if I talk to him again, which we agreed, he's going to be checking in with me here, again in a few days and let me know what's going on. So we will be talking again. And I will pass that on. I think it's just a matter of getting from point A to point B and taking care of everything he needs to. And right now, obviously when he gets to Oregon, that's a long flight back. He's got to get these legal things worked out. So he's going to go to Miami first. He's going to talk to these attorneys. He's going to get the civil case rolling. He's going to make sure all of that's going on. He's going to be writing books. He's got some things that, again, I'll let Ty tell you about, but he's got some good things going that I think it's all going to work out for him. I think he's going to really, I think he wants to start a pro se revolution, and I think that's fantastic. And I'm going to try to do everything I can to help him accomplish that because, again, that's something that is near and dear to my heart. Again, my dad's story hasn't been told. It will be soon. But once you understand that and you see that and you understand all the intricacies and things that go on there, you understand why Ty and I have come together. You understand why I took such an interest in his case. You understand with all of it. So, but what I want everyone to know who walks away from this live, Ty is in a good place. Ty's in contact with Lauren. Ty is working on getting his affairs in order. And he's spending Thanksgiving in a safe, warm place at a nice place. He told me the hotel was very nice, and they were supposed to be having a turkey dinner later this evening, and he was planning to go down and take advantage of that. And I think so. Well, Christine Fortunato, we're not sure what's going to happen with John Travis Johnson. As of right now, he's still on a 5-year probation term. They've got to decide whether or not he lied in Ty's case, which there's good indication that he did, but currently Travis is in Texas. I think honestly they're going to probably take him off probation and just move on. I don't think that the Monroe County State's Attorney's Office really wants to do much more with this case, but I could be wrong. But I think if they were to move forward and admit Travis lied, the public relations nightmare on what that would look like for them. That's why I told Ty was under the impression they might charge him again and try to undo his plea deal and lock him up for 30 years. I'm not of the belief that they're going to do that. I think that would cause more problems than what they want. And Dennis Ward, I think, is just going to want to wipe his hands of this situation and try to walk away. I think Ty's going to pursue, hopefully, everything he can in a civil avenue, continue to pursue to try to get justice for the wrongs that were committed in this case. It's just we'll see where it all comes out. But we're going to continue fighting. We're going to continue putting it out here because there's much more to be told. There's much more information to get out, and Ty will be now able to speak on all of that. And we're hopefully get a front row seat as we see Ty through the civil case and as we see him help others. There's a lot of people that need help out there. There's a lot of people that are incarcerated that aren't getting that are in Ty's position. He's come into contact with a lot of them. He helped a lot of those people out. So it'll be very exciting to see what he does with this life experience that he has. So we will see. But yeah. So that is the big update, massive update, really. He's safe. He's out. He's in Key West. He will be traveling to Fort Lauderdale, Miami area by Monday. Once he gets his stuff, he will be going down to the bus station. He will be presenting his paperwork. He's not 100% certain that it'll work, but he's going to give it a try. I think it will. And then he will get on a bus and be in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, where he will meet with some attorneys. It's possible Lauren might even be coming down to meet with him and try to join him in the pursuit of civil lawyers. And then hopefully he'll make his way safely back to Oregon, which is where I think he wants to go in the end. and we'll get it there. I think he's okay, Christine. The way he made it sound to me was he was okay. He's got his affairs in order right now. I told him, I said, there's some very kind, generous people out here who would love to help you. And his words to me were, I got it taken care of, Steve. I appreciate it. And we'll see what it is. I think that maybe what he'll want happening in the future. And if he needs help, he knows we got his back. But I think what he wants us to do is support his cause. He would like us to support his, whatever he gets involved, whatever awareness he tries to bring to pro se defendants. The best thing you can do to help Ty right now, share this live on all social media. I'm going to be posting that phone call alone. Share that on all social media. Share his voice. Go over, put it to Vinnie Politan. Try to get people's attention, get people back invested in his case, back invested on what happened, get them interested. You've got a great hook. Hey, did you hear about Ty Tucker? He just cut a landmark plea deal where he literally pled no contest and walked out of court free. No strings attached, no probation, no supervision, millions of dollars in court costs waived. That's a hell of a damn hook. So you go, if you want to help Ty right now, that's what you do. If you want to give back to Ty, that's what you do. And right now, send his voice around, and Ty will be in contact with everyone. There will eventually be ways to contact him when he gets connected again. Right now, he's just relaxing. He's kicking back. He was going to try to see if YouTube was on his thing. So he might be watching right now. He just might not be able to type in and say hi to everybody. But if he is watching, hi, Ty. If he is watching, take the time in the chat to say happy Thanksgiving. On the way out, I'm going to leave the chat up in the screen. Give him some words of support. Let him know that we got his back because and that we intend to continue to spread his message. Vinnie Politan would have Ty on his spot. Hey, I hope he would. Listen, Vinnie said he was going to cover him. He still hasn't. Vinnie, I tagged Vinnie in on the plea deal. I let Vinnie know that Ty was in negotiating of a plea. I said, get Court TV's cameras down there, and Vinnie didn't show up. So we had to show up. So we did it like I said, we showed up. There was a reporter down there, and we did it kind of the amateur industry justice way that we set in there, did it iPhone style, but we got it, and you see it, and that's the exclusive. There's nobody else that has it. So I sent money to Vinny and tried to get his attention on there. If Vinny wants to cover this case, he should cover it. If there's any case right now that should get his attention, this is it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime case that you will never see another plea bargain like this. If that doesn't get Vinnie Politan's attention, listen, long crime, they're dead in the water. They dared to film that or air that doofus judge who said Ty was an arrogant pro se defendant and tried to besmirch a key part that is actually going to potentially get a judge at a minimum censured. And she tried to redefine that. She didn't do her homework. Shame on them. Shame on long crime. I'm disappointed. Let them go cover the Diddy case because that's fine. I hope Vinny, and listen, the impact Vinny can have. Remember, Vinny is a former prosecutor. Court TV is filled with former prosecutors and judges. I guarantee you, if those people pick this up, and they can pick this up, Vinny, if you watch this, you don't got to ask me, man. You can air that. Email me. I'll send you the sentencing hearing. You can air it right on your podcast. You can air it right on Court TV. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. You can attribute me or not. I don't care. What I care about right now in this case is getting this case the attention it deserves and getting Ty the attention that he needs. I've got, I could send it through. I'm doing my job. I'm putting this out there to my followers. There's 40,000 of you out there, allegedly. So show up and share this. Because like I said, I might get, this is one we need you to show up. So show up and share, and let's get this out. Let's get this out to everyone. So yes, they did, Amberam. They came in and they begged him to take this deal. Those two prosecutors, they went in off the record in the middle of the night to Monroe County Jail. I was aware of this happening about 3.5 weeks ago. And I was told, I was tipped off by my source down there that he and I have been working together on this and doing stuff. And you're gonna know who that is, because he's gonna be doing a big deal on Ty's case. I hope he's gonna blow it up for him, but I'm not gonna unveil that. And he's working with me on some other stuff as well. That's gonna be big time stuff. But anyways, this gentleman let me know a couple of weeks ago that they had come in to Ty's cell and removed him, and were doing nighttime negotiations with Ty. And as you heard Ty talk about them, it was back and forth. These guys even told Ty, "We know you're innocent." They complimented his courtroom presence. They told him, "We know you're innocent." They told him, "There's just no way we can get Dennis Ward to move off this case. And Dennis Ward will not walk away with a straight dismissal. But we think we've worked out something that works for everybody. You don't have to admit you're guilty. Dennis Ward gets his adjudicated guilty plea, at least for the court record. And you get to walk out of jail free, and we don't have it on our conscience that we put an innocent man behind bars." And eventually Ty was brought in when they sat down and they explained it to him. And they're the ones that explained it to him. They're the ones that sat there and said, "Listen, Ty," they got it through his head that said, "Listen, you are still innocent. You're still an innocent person from a civil case." And once he realized civilly he could still pursue his civil cases against the state of Florida, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the Monroe County State Attorney's Office, and Dennis Ward, once he realized that, he said, "Where do I sign? It's time to get out of jail. It's time to start fighting. It's time to move this to the next level." So we'll see where everything goes with it. Obviously, these are all uphill battles. But I think the one thing that Dennis Ward miscalculated here is that if you think, "Oh, well, he pled no contest," which is essentially he was adjudicated guilty to robbery. Well, yeah, that's like the very first part of it. But then when you go, wait a minute, so what did this guy get? What was the backstory? He did what to 3 people? He's alleged to have done what? Holy cow. How does this man walk away with 910 days in jail, all court costs waived, over $1 million in court costs waived that normally wouldn't have been waived. And then on top of that, the $10,000 that he had to have, basically the transport cost and a few other things, are reduced to civil fine or civil liens, meaning they're not, and that's a huge significance, because normally they would have been something they could have held over his head. He's got nothing hanging over his head. Maybe down the road, if Ty hits a big windfall, or if he were to get a lawsuit, the lawsuit settlement, they'd probably take the fines out of that settlement, so they'd be paying the fines themselves. And that's kind of how it was presented to him. So unbelievable deal. And for him to have done this, and one thing you didn't hear was he was telling me that he actually had at one point, he had attorneys calling him because his fellow prisoners in there were like, "Hey, yeah, this guy's in jail. This guy's done this. This guy got a mistrial." And he was actually talking to attorneys in the jailhouse, giving them advice on what to do, giving them advice on how to fight and win. And it's unbelievable. So this is a huge win for Ty Tucker. It's a great day. Lots to be thankful for. And hey, you know what? Look, I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic for him, but the fight is just beginning. So don't look at this as the end of anything. This is not the end. This is the beginning. This is where the real fight begins, to where we have to get word out on this. This is where Ty goes and gets justice for himself. And it's going to take all of you out there. You guys are at the base level of this, because now Ty is free to go out and get the attention he deserves. And he's going to. There are some big things in the works. And it will be you guys who will be able to say you were here from the beginning. So be present. Share this. Push this out. Let people know Ty Tucker is free now. Let people know what happened. And Ty Tucker will be in touch. And Vinny Politan, if Vinny Politan's interested, Right now, there's nobody behind his email because he's locked out. So tell Vinny to email Justice as a Process, and I will work on getting him in contact with Ty Tucker. I can get him in contact with Ty Tucker tonight if he wants to talk to Ty Tucker. I can pass on all the information, and he'll be talking to Ty Tucker tonight. So if he wants to, but it is, let him know. So we want to get the right people to give attention to this very important case and to highlight what is something unprecedented, something that, like I said, there was a heavy-hitting attorney Ty just spoke with who might be taking on his civil case who said, "You're a legal genius." That's what Ty told me was told to him from this man's mouth to Ty's ear. And you heard it in the recording. I left it in there. And that's an assessment from a very skilled Florida Miami attorney who said, "My God, I can't believe you negotiated this. This is unheard of. This is unbelievable. This is a genius move. How did you do it?" I mean, you don't walk out of a courtroom with no strings attached, no community service. I mean, I want you all to really, really just let that set in. This is a guy who just pled no contest to being involved, allegedly, according to the state. They hold evidence that a jury might find him guilty on, to having put on a mask, cut one person's neck, stabbed another guy, stabbed Todd O'Quinn in his hand, who was being a good Samaritan, flees the scene, allegedly takes and steals, depending between $200 to $100 to $1,000, allegedly stole a cookie of crack. And this is a guy that the state of Florida was comfortable with just doing 910 days time served and walking out of the courtroom back into their community. This is a guy they're comfortable with being in their community right now. And I say this because guess what? The fact that they're comfortable, the fact that this was allowed to happen, tells you that they know Ty Tucker was a 100% innocent man.
The system's rigged, man, it's time to break free. Eyes wide open, gotta see what I see. Standing on the front lines, fighting for the truth. Lift the veil of lies, it's time to be the proof. Take a stand, don't you back down. Raise your voice, let's shake the town. We're the voices that won't be ignored. Breaking chains, yeah, we're ready for war. With the power of the people, we'll make them see a world of justice, united and free. United and free. United and free. Marching with a purpose, we're taking it higher. Fighting through the struggle, igniting the fire. No more silence, we'll make the noise loud. Together in this battle, standing strong and proud. Injustice fades when courage aligns. Rise up together, break the confines. We're the voices that won't be ignored. Breaking chains, yeah, we're ready for war. With the power of the people, we'll make them see a world of justice, united and free. United and free. United and free. So rise up now, it's our time to shine. Together we'll write a new paradigm. You paradigm, you paradigm. Whoa, whoa. We're the voices that won't be ignored.